if you're non-Christian, can you get into heaven?
Important
What
question.
do you mean by non-Christian?
I mean, if you
Me.
just don't, him, me,
Yeah.
I'm agnostic.
So I would say God is not going to force anyone into heaven. In that, heaven, once again, remember, heaven is not the final destination.
Soft
New
no.
heaven's the new earth, the
Yeah, it
final
was a
destination.
soft no, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially, no one comes to the Father but through me, Jesus says, right? But C.S. Lewis, once again, he says that hell is locked from the inside. So I would say that if you have spent your life not living out a life that is what Jesus has called you to do, to be, then Jesus is not going to force you into his presence. You're going to go. So Lewis also says, heaven is God's, or hell is God saying, thy will be done. So what you want in your life by rejecting Christ is what you're going to get in the afterlife.
Nobody wants hell.
Well,
You just accept, and maybe, and I guess Hindus accept Jesus as, I've read like a yogi,
sure.
essentially, but maybe not the only form of God. And theoretically, I think it aligns with Christianity in some ways, if God is everywhere, we could all be God. Jesus is a human that he achieved his inner God. So
that would be the Hindu way of working it out.
right. But then we accept Jesus. And
But
so,
even Hinduism is exclusivistic in certain regards. So like, no one is entirely inclusivistic, right? The exclusivists have to exclude the inclusivists, and the inclusivists have to exclude
how would
the
we, and I'm not,
exclusivists.
look, I don't know enough. So how are we exclusivists?
Right. So depending on what version of Hinduism you're talking about, because there's polytheistic Hinduism, there's monotheistic Hinduism, and there's atheistic or non-theistic Hinduism.
Yeah, you could
right?
be atheist Hindu. Yeah.
So they can't all be true. So truth by its very nature is exclusive, right? If I say 2 + 2 is 4, well, I'll give it Andrew the benefit of the doubt. Andrew says 2 + 2 is 4. I say 2 + 2 is 6. One of us is wrong. Now, we could both be wrong, but the truth is that 2 + 2 is 4. He's right. And so in that sense, that's an exclusive truth statement. So if you look at all the world religions, I would ultimately say they're all exclusivistic at some regard. I say Jesus is...
Exclusivistic in the most important regard.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I would say Christianity is inclusivistic in that all are called to come.
Yeah.
But it is exclusivistic in that Jesus loves you and calls you to come as you are, but he loves you too much to leave you where you are.